this past month, there had been a question come up whether or not Palmyra Township was in violation of the Michigan Opens Meeting Act. I responded at that meeting with a letter citing information from the MTA manual, which is the Michigan Township Association manual, and a letter from Attorney Frank Riley. After polling our township board this week, we determined to have Mr. Riley attend this evening to address our board. Frank, thank you.
As my letter outlined, what the planning commission was doing, where they were using subcommittees not designed to avoid the Open Meetings Act, rather to gather information, which they would basically put in a workable format, and then present to the board as a whole, for the board then to deliberate on, and the board as a whole to work on, at a regularly scheduled or especially scheduled meeting, which is posted to, is open pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, is not a violation of the Act. The folks have been given a case issued before the field's unpublished opinion, and in fact, if you look at that, particularly if I draw your attention to pages 16, 17, talks in terms of what can and cannot be done. And in my conversations with Jim, it is apparent that they are doing things in conformance with the Open Meetings Act, and that they are not in violation, and they did not violate. And if they have these subcommittees that gather the information on a particular topic, organize it, and bring it to the planning commission, and the planning commission discusses it, deliberates on it, that's fine. According to this case, according to the other case law that it cites, and according to the statute itself.
Frank, you had page 2, this case, Hoff versus Spolstra.
Right.
An unpublished Michigan Court of Appeals case. What's that mean?
It really is not binding precedent. The courts may look at it, but it is not binding precedent that the lower courts, like the circuit courts and the district courts, have to follow. It is an opinion in that particular case. It is not binding. It can be cited by attorneys in other arguments, but it is not binding on lower courts to follow it. The only court that really controls is the one who appealed that case, who had the initial ruling in that case. And this was out of Marquette County, so this would be absolutely binding on Marquette County. And otherwise, it makes for interesting reading, and it's sort of a summary from the case law, but it would not be, would not in and of itself, in its present condition, be binding upon Monroe County or Monroe County or Hillsdale County or Jackson. But it is, it can be cited as a basis for decision by a judge, but it's not binding.
Do any of the board members have questions for Frank? I think all of us are aware of this question, aren't we? That came up. Is there anybody who's not? And do any of our board members feel that by having 3 people of the planning commission meet to do research is a intentional avoidance of the Open Meeting Act? Frank, thank you. And we have additional copies of this letter here this evening. Dr. Leonard, Planning Commission.
Yes.
No, thank you for attending.
I'll send you out here, but you continue on.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Question first, or do you want?
Go ahead, tell us briefly where you're at with the planning commission with some of the tasks. We know you're working on wind turbines.
Okay. As far as the rest of the ordinance, we had one committee meeting in January, and we started that. And three of us started on definitions, and I don't remember what the other committee started on. We've never even discussed anything. We probably have to start over as far as that's concerned, because it's not really fresh on our minds anymore. Ever since January, we've been concentrating on the wind ordinances. We had a couple of committee meetings where we did look at definitions and site plans and stuff like that, site plan ideas. And then since then, we've been more in an information gathering as a committee, or as the whole committee, commission is concerned. The hard part is trying to find unbiased opinions. And so, last month we had an insurance man here explaining us about decommissioning bonds or performance bonds. Gary Weiss looked at our ideas for the site plan and gave a few suggestions. Let's see, who else did we have? I'm having a senior moment here. And Doug talked about, you know, there's a lot of, it was brought up again tonight about this life flight. Because we addressed that last week, and we do have letters and all that stuff, and you know, we're trying to sort out the rumors and bring the truth. And so that's kind of where we are. Next this month, the next meeting, we're going to have a sound engine. I believe it's a sound engineer. Is that correct? Or your sound communications?
It was
Communications man from Exelon is going to help us with the controversy regarding Channel 40. I've also contacted, Channel 40 was going to bring in some sort of a person from Washington, D.C., and he can't come until June. So he'll be there in June. I don't know what his title is, but he's coming in. I've got a physics professor coming in June. I'm working on a neurologist for June to try and give us some unbiased information. And I'm not calling either side a liar. I'm just trying to get the information. I don't want any other fluff with it. I asked the I'm having a senior moment again.
ICC?
Yeah, I asked the ICC if they have any new information, so to bring that to the June meeting. And we're going to give them 15 minutes, you know. And that's about what everybody's going to get, is 15 minutes to present you know, what information they have, and then we're going to ask them questions. Frank Baker, the other night, he got up in the public section and he spent 3 minutes talking about green energy, and it wasn't really pro or against. I don't really think it had too much to do with windmills per se, but I'm going to have him finish his talk in May. So we're still in the information gathering spot, and we're not at a point where we're ready to start voting on setbacks and sound levels, that sort of thing. I would say, you know, looking at what we're doing in May and June, we've got a full plate. So I can't give you an estimate when we're going to start giving you something in writing yet. I did go up and see the windmill. I went up to see a windmill Sunday. And I have a few people at my office that talk to me about windmills, and one of the things that you know, I'm trying to stay unbiased. I'm a landowner too, but I'm trying to stay unbiased. I don't know what the fees are that they pay. They haven't contacted me. But I don't know, has everybody in this room gone up to see a windmill? And if we put, my example is if I put 2 cookies here, one from Morning Fresh and one from Sugar Boys, and I ask you which one's the best one, and you try to take, and you come up and you're going to take a bite of it, and I say you can't have a bite of it, you just got to tell me which one's the best. Or what about a movie? What about the King's Speech? If you didn't see that movie, can you have an opinion on whether it deserved the Oscar? So I'm encouraging, I'm not going to vote, we won't vote until every commissioner, or everybody on the commission has seen the windmill, has gone up and seen it. And I don't know, I don't think they turn them down. I mean, I don't care. You know, I was up there and the wind was blowing with 19 miles an hour. I don't think they turned the sound off or anything like that. I just don't buy that stuff. So anyway, that's where we are. And if you want to know about moratorium, and I'll tell you from a scientist aspect. To me, when we think of a moratorium, we say, well, during this moratorium, we're going to do research. Palmyra Township can't afford to do research. We don't know if they're doing any other research. But whether it's, if you say, well, we're going to do a moratorium, well, then let's do a 5-year moratorium. We ought to get some information in 5 years. And a year really isn't enough. If they were going to do a new procedure, a new surgical procedure on you, and they say you got a 50-50 chance of surviving, and you say, well, how long have they been doing it? Well, they've been doing it for a year. Well, I don't know if I'd want that surgery. Whereas if they said we've been doing it for 5 years and 50%, well, that's a little bit better odds. So if you're going to go to moratorium, I don't think a year isn't enough. Because, I mean, they're just, unless they're going to do some 5-year studies on the health effects of wind turbines, and they're going to put more. I'm reading Pierpoint's book right now, and she had 12. As far as I know, she had 12 people there studied. That's not enough. That's all. Any guys have questions?
Your next meeting is May 17th.
Right.
And the next one is June 14th.
I believe so.
That's correct. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Here.
Here. What about some? I think we will rearrange the room, but the problem will be in the next couple of months. It's going to be hot in here, so we're going to have some windows open. It's going to be even harder to hear.
Maybe some fans.
Maybe some fans. I don't know about speakers or microphones. The other thing that we could probably use would be, I think the Exelon people is going to get me a county. I like a bigger map, kind of like this, of the 4 or 5 townships that are kind of involved, because we want to do the illustration with the TV thing, Channel 40 and their antenna thing in Fairfield Township. So we kind of like that. They're going to get me on that. For that, I think probably all the commissioners, all the members of the commission wouldn't mind a township map, a big one that we can kind of all look at, and even the ones that had the residents on, so that we could get an